Hey guys, just a short video. Me and Peaches are out here hanging out in the shop, and she loves to look up your nostril. I won't have it. Got a little video, got an idea, and it's probably something that would have occurred to one of you guys right off the bat. Probably the most logical way to do it, but going to go through that and explain that idea. And I also want to answer some questions from James Van D. James Van D has a machine like mine. He's an Illinoisan, and he had a couple questions about the machine over here, about the Pratt & Whitney. So if you don't mind. So he was wondering about this knob here. I don't have a knob. I just have this plunger here. But let's wheel this down to out of the insane range. So James, when you pull this out, it allows us to freewheel. And I imagine one advantage to that is it's not turning when you're in auto feed, but I can't really see that being a big problem. But that's the one thing. Now you had another issue also, another question. And I may have to stop this video to go back and read what that one was. But that's that. Let me look here real quick and see what he says here. Can you make a... Oh yeah, he wanted a drawing of the half nut screw, or the lead screw for the cross slide, and I have several copies of this, which I'll pass one on to you. You sent me your address. I know I've had it before and lost it, so James, I'll get that out to you probably Monday. That's all we got. George, I want to talk to you a little bit, but it's going to be a separate video, I think. Okay, guys. I can't remember this is an intro or an outro. Okay, here's a quick little hack for the mini lathe. Where'd my Tommy bar go? So I want to show another hack also. There it is. Okay, I got a little magnet stuck down here to the headstock. So when I'm rolling these nuts off my jaw, I can just let that baby drop. I have a hand down there just in case, but I can let that thing drop, and that magnet will pick it up. You can see I got all three nuts there. So another place where I got magnets on this is I actually have a threaded rod here on my carriage lock. I need to show this to a particular guy out there. What's his name? Glenn Now. So Glenn Now, you hate using that wrench on this, so did I. I got this nut here right now. I use this Tommy bar, and when I'm done with the Tommy bar, I just stick it on the side there. Now I have a lever for that. Let me reach down in here. There. So I have a same situation there. And one of these holes is threaded and accepts that knob. And one other little hack, this is my the gear train cover. 2 cap head screws here. You just eliminate those. There's only one magnet there now, but the other magnet's stuck there. And that magnet sucks down on that button head screw and makes that easy to get into. I think that's all the magnets on this one. Oh yeah, you got this one back here on the headstock, and it's just collects chips. And one more magnetic hack is carriage travel indicator. A couple magnets back on the back of that. That there, I got a magnet here. Push that over and turn this on. And when you back up the carriage, it grabs that, and now you're measuring your travel. Okay, that's it for magnetic hacks on the mini lathe. Also, you can get another 1.5 inches of travel if you take off this thread dial. I'm a firm proponent of the 16-inch bed extension. That would bring this bed out to, yeah, no longer limited to 6 inches. Okay, I'm going to get the collet chuck mounted up on here. Okay, here's a 1/4 inch hole. I'm going to tighten up the chuck key, with the chuck key. Okay, that's all I need there. And then we've got a 1/4 inch reamer. Once again, let's tighten up the chuck. We're bringing some chips out. I'm going to check that with my, let's just call it a gauge pen. I got these 1/4 inch pens. It almost wants to go in there. Let's see what this pen actually measures. Okay.
Man, really had to do a cleanup. Things were getting crazy in here. Okay, so right now we've got the adjuster on.
Yeah, we're
We made this
250 thousandths and 2/10.
I'm going to bend these edges, and basically it's going to go like this and just be bent.
Okay, well that should be
like that, so we can get our nuts on it.
it should be going in there.
This speed roller drive system. Yeah. Anyway. 4 1/2 inch bolts. What's next for me is
it's a press fit.
Step is lining up these shafts. You want to make sure that.
So let's close this chuck up.
You want to make sure that these are definitely square. So what I've done is I've measured 2 inches center.
Get him off. So we'll go ahead and press that in. It's just sliding in my tailstock's just sliding. Okay, I got a bit more. Let me get a little love on there. Not sure where I put it at. I got a lot of pen to put up in there. I should have drilled it deeper on the other piece. I'm going to try a different reamer, I think, also. I'm going to go a little bit deeper. Okay, that first reamer mic'd out at right at 250. This one I think is 252. Just a quick check. But I want to get a mark on that so I can measure my depth roughly. It's not deep enough, but it's gonna serve the purpose. I can go back in there for a second chance. Okay, now I want to get to the point of this whole video. So, theoretically, we have my new lead screw for my cross feed on the Pratt & Whitney. I've drilled a hole, I've reamed it, and I've pinned it. Theoretically, this is the other end of my lead screw with all the machine details yet to be put on it. That's the key, yet to be put on it. So that second reamer I used was a little larger, so we really have just a slip fit. There we go. It tightens up there at the very end. And we go ahead and apply the dead center. Okay, now that let's pretend that this bar is blank, or that this bar is the other end of my lead screw with the features all 50 thousandths oversized. So now that I have everything pinned in here, and I have my shaft on the Pratt & Whitney with a true set collet chuck, I have my taper out of the headstock, tailstock. The length of the material is no longer an issue because I can run the lead screw through the headstock. So my thinking is I can now machine off my features to their finished numbers, to their finished dimension. And I should have a lead screw and the adjoining shaft concentric with each other, straight. So let me say it one more time. This is the non-threaded portion of my lead screw without the features machined in it, or the features are machined but 50% large. So I pin the threaded piece, I pin this oversized piece to it, I machine my features. I have a 0 set collet chuck. So now I believe we'll V this out for welding, have it welded, put it back in here, and then machine the features to their dimension. Well, I hope you stuck around for the second explanation where I included the welding part, but I believe I have a good solution there for keeping that screw true. So I'd appreciate your input. Is that a good idea, a bad idea? If it's a bad idea, why? Through the comments, I've decided, I can't say I was persuaded, I'm going to do what somebody with years more experience than me suggests. I'm going to do a pressed fit pin. And I believe it's going to be 3/8. Okay. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for liking and subscribing. Really appreciate you. All right.